Hey guys, Rowan here again, bringing you the second part of the Rock Brigade album series for Def Leppard. And today we're going to be actually reviewing the first album full-length album that these guys actually put out, which was, On Through the Night. And it's really interesting because I personally like this album a lot. I consider it one of my favorites from their discography. I know a lot of hardcore Leopard fans do as well. Uh, the interesting thing which I like most about this is to begin with is the actual album cover. And well, personally, I kind of rate this as my favorite album cover that Def Leppard has actually put out there. And I kind of think it's interesting. It kind of gives me this feeling of, I don't know, maybe Judas Priest living after midnight, Kiss, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. And it just gives you a sense that this is about them delivering the goods. And to quote Judas Priest, guitar is strung on the back of this truck, and it actually going across the moon, night sky, and if you will. And I think what the band was essentially trying to say was that yes, they are trying to deliver the goods. They actually are here to actually rock your socks off, and just make sure everyone has a good time. So kicking off with the album itself, the band members. So Joe was on this. We had Pete Willis on lead guitar, Steve Clark on the lead guitar, and we had Rick Savage on bass, and finally we had Rick Allen on drums. And Rick was really young at this point, about 16 years old. So he was like the most junior member of the band. The band itself, the age-wise were fairly young. Joe was just probably in his early 20s at this point, and they really wanted to conquer the world. They really wanted to make a statement. And what's good is that this album was actually produced by Tom Malone. So for those guys who would know, Tom Malone was the guy who produced a lot of big Judas Priest album hits, such as British Steel and so on. So it was pretty interesting that they got him for this album. They wanted Robert John Mutt Lange, but he was busy, so they couldn't quite get him. But we'll discuss that in the next album review series for High and Dry. The songs themselves, I think, again, continue from where the Def Leppard EP left off, which is maintaining that raw but strong energy vibe to them. So to begin with, you start with Rock Brigade, which is what we've kind of named this album review series. Rock Brigade, to many Leopard fans, is a classic anthem. It is a song that really makes a big difference in terms of the fact that it really sets the tone for how this entire album is going to play out. Leppard, on a few sporadic tours here and there, have in fact featured this song on them. A lot of fans would like to see it featured even more, but hey, that depends on the band themselves, obviously. For fans, we can just continue hoping that they will. Rock Brigade is really solid, a straight out rocker, like more about 4 minutes long, really packs a good punch and so on, which leads into the second track, which is Hello America. Joe, in fact, himself quite said shamelessly that they named it that because they really wanted to actually leave and head over to the States, because that's really where the action and all the music's experimentation was really happening, and they really wanted to see literally that brave new world in a way. And this song actually, signifies their feelings as a young band wanting to really make a mark. And I think it's pretty interesting to check out. It features a pretty interesting sound. It's got a pretty, shall we say, a frequent keyboard kind of background score, which is kind of running in different parts and so on. But interesting nonetheless. Then you get into a song which was actually a remake of the very first song that Leppard ever made, which was Misty Dreamer, which was a song that Joe wrote. That song never really made it on the EP, which we discussed in the last part, but it did make it on here, but it was reworked into a song called Sorrow is a Woman. I would liken it to be the only type of ballad track in a way that's on this album. A lot of guys may not agree with that, but personally, I just think that given the tone, the way it actually flows and so on, it is got a very strong 70s feel to it, 70s music, a lot of big bands which they were influenced by. It has that sort of tone out here. But interesting track nonetheless to check out, packs in a pretty good punch. But the track that follows it is, I regard as one of my personal favorites, which is, It Could Be You. It Could Be You is a song that, you could almost take it as a fan that, where Leppard was saying that, we've kind of made it. But then again, maybe someone out here whom they're singing to, one of their audience members, they too could probably form a band which could probably do great things. And that's just my take on it. Pretty stupid. I don't know. That's just my view. You guys tell me what you guys think personally. But it could be used one of my personal favorites. Satellite, I would kind of liken in a way was when I listen to Satellite, I always think of the song Rocket, simply because there's this kind of space idea behind it. Although that's not exactly what the band was aiming for, but I just kind of think of it that way. Satellite, of course, sounds nothing like Rocket, which is on the Hysteria album. But Satellite itself is pretty cool. It's kind of a slightly adventurous song. It packs in a few elements and some, other audio parts which are in it, like what would space sound like and so on. So it's kind of interesting from that angle. The following track, which is When the Walls Came Tumbling Down, actually has someone narrating about something which would kind of be like Armageddon happening, or like the end of the world kind of thing. So this is a song which actually shows how Leppard was wanting to talk about different themes at this point in time, not just about one thing, which is purely man or woman. Nothing wrong with that, but it just shows that they were trying to look at different elements as well. The next track, I think it's safe to say that every Leppard fan loves this track. It is my personal favorite off the album completely. It is my overall Leppard fan favorite, which is Wasted. And I think a lot of credit is given to Steve Clark for actually coming up with this riff. And this song just, if anyone was to say that Leppard has not got what it takes to be a hard rock outfit, this is a song you need to make them hear. In fact, when they played Donington Park in 2011, and when they did this as their encore piece, it was awesome. I mean, people were amazed that this song was actually a part of it, those who are more familiar with the later works that Def Leppard did. But for hardcore fans, we cite this as, really the best track on this album. It is awesome in every way. And it keeps the momentum going with the next track, which is Rocks Off, which was Get Your Rocks Off, which we reviewed in the EP series. But Rocks Off again features kind of a fake audience sound. It gives you this feeling of it's alive in an arena of sorts. But again, it's really, really good, really focused, quick pace, one of the faster tracks on this album. And it really packs a mean punch again. I know I've been saying punch quite a bit, but this is really what this album is all about. It really is that good. So definitely worth checking out for those who haven't heard it already. And It Don't Matter is the next track, and it's kind of good. And I would say that it has got a pretty catchy chorus, because it's a big hook kind of chorus, which actually kind of lays the blueprint as to what probably would follow with Leppard's later work. But very interesting track nonetheless. I like it a lot. Do check that out. And Answer to the Master is a good track, but not a track that I'm very fond of. I would have preferred if they had actually done, say, Good Morning Freedom, or, perhaps maybe even Ride Into the Sun included over here, which they did not. But Answer the Master is a track that, tries to live up to the same memento. I'm sorry, not memento, but the same kind of momentum as the other tracks themselves. But the thing is that somewhere I just feel that there's something weak about it. There's something that is just not quite, matching up. But anyway, it still fits in, gives you a feeling that it's not exactly a filler, but it's not exactly a big hit either. And the final track, of course, track 11, which was Overture. And over here, it is, I would say, the longest song Leppard has ever put out at all. Some guys might immediately say, well, what about, White Lightning, or Gods of War, or Rocket, or, for that matter, Pearl of Euphoria off Slang. But those actually fall short of the actual time. It is the longest song overall. It's got a very nice acoustic build up, which is the same thing it had on the EP. It builds up to this really nice chugging hard rock sound, goes up to this point of being really epic in the middle section, where it gives you this feeling that something huge is going to happen, and then finally boils back down to this very nice acoustic part again, and just ends on a really nice note. So I think overall, On Through the Night, when it was released, was received quite well. The band was hoping for more success with this album, but it happened, but not in the way that they really hoped for. What was really going to change the fortunes for this band was really what they were going to do with their next album, and with the legendary producer who was going to probably join forces with them. So that we're going to probably review in the next part of this series, which is with High and Dry. So stay tuned for that. Thanks. Bye.